me to...
Let's talk about this. What is your quest? What do we want to get accomplished here? Hold on.
It's like show and tell. My sister kept these old Wheels newsletters from the local Cielo Vista Hobbycraft store. In this issue, they announced the coming of Desert Surfing Skate Park 2 blocks from my house. And so if you're an 11-year-old kid, how stoked are you, right? Earth Surf was the other skate park in 1977, and it announced the first skateboard park was coming to El Paso. They said it was desert surfing, but in truth, Earth Surf beat them to the punch, you know? So Earth Surf was the first. They were both pay-to-play skate parks. It was awesome. Fewer people were coming, and the business model was about making money. And when you couldn't make money at it anymore, the owners just closed shop. Late 90s, I was sportscasting and I was doing stories on skateboard history in El Paso. I hooked up with Jaime Favela and we just started riding, and I fell in love with skateboarding all over again. And Jaime never stopped skating. That dude's OG. Jaime Favela is the El Paso legend.
Everybody that drops in that people know they're pushing their limits gets applause. It could be Tony Hawk, myself, you, hell, anybody else. A little girl could show up to the same session. But as soon as you drop in and you know, as soon as you put your tail down, you know the pecking order. You take your turn. Everybody gets the bowl to themselves.
We were riding empty pools and ditches. You never knew, you know, if you were gonna meet the owner or the cops. What cities started doing was building public skate parks.
But there were ramp parks.
Everyone at City Hall, they didn't skate. So they would make decisions based on what, you know, playground manufacturers or other people thought skateboarding should be when we knew what it was.
We don't want to necessarily jump fences anymore and gain creative access. We want to knock on doors.
We want to see the city do right.
I was working with an engineering company and I was learning about concrete soils.
I'd hang out on job sites and just sponge information. I said, what can I do to help? And I said, well, no, you can't do anything, Zimmy. I said, I'll sweep, I'll just get the broom. But I'm listening. When you go talk to city leaders, you're speaking from experience and knowledge. Parks and Rec guys would ask the skateboarders, hey, we want your input on the next public skate park design. And we'd show up and we'd say, concrete, and they'd say no. We made an inventory of every skate park in El Paso. Here's what you got, here's how much money you spent on it. Had a bank account, bylaws, minutes, you know. We were doing it by the book, and this is the book. So we could really bridge the gap between the skateboard community and city leaders who were making decisions about public skate parks.
The first concrete park was Carolina.
We were pumped when that thing came up. They just buried our pools and the Huevo wasn't built yet. Probably the most well-rounded skate park in El Paso in terms of being able to learn how to ride, being able to progress. And we now have a total of 11 public skate parks. 4 of them are concrete.
El Paso Skatepark Association began getting credibility. Now the city's coming to us.
We've been wildly successful beyond anything that I ever imagined we could accomplish when we started it.
We have skatable drainage that it's, you know, pretty much the first of its kind.
We now have 4 dual-purpose stormwater infrastructure projects that are made for skateboarding and migrating stormwater. If you want to get people to buy homes in the place, you want to put amenities in there. And so Scott Winton of Winton Homes, he wanted to add basketball court, a little playground for kids, and he wanted to put a skate park in there. But he wanted to do ramps. My buddy heard about that and he said, nah, don't do ramps. Go talk to these guys, man. They know all about doing concrete parks and they're better. Well, he didn't have money to build a full-on concrete skate park for hundreds of thousands of dollars, but he said, you know what I do have to do is build concrete channels for stormwater drainage. So how about if I give you the top 100 feet of the ditch and you guys can kind of design whatever you think might work and we'll build it. It almost looks like a snowboard half pipe with a little bowl at the top. You're basically working with a crew of guys that do like sidewalks and curbs and gutters, and you're teaching them how to build a skate park wall. In August of 2006, we had more than 15 inches of rain in a 1-week period, and it caused almost $500 million of damage to property in El Paso. It really exposed the flaws in our stormwater master plan, and so the city wanted to redo it, and that meant that they were going to be pouring a lot of concrete. Susie Bird, who was a city council rep, saw what we did at Edgemont and said, why can't we do some of that here? And then within several weeks, I was standing on top of the Van Buren Dam Reservoir with water engineers talking about, what are we going to do? So we put our brains together and, we were able to pull it off in construction. And it's built for the 100-year storm. It ain't going anywhere. Looks like something the Mayans might have built back in the day.
Roman Colosseum-ish.
The next ditch project was Rio Valley. Winton Homes was doing another subdivision. Went out there with Scott Winton. We're looking at what he wanted to do. He had a central pond park and he needed to migrate water from the street to the park. The space was actually really small. It was only about 33 feet wide, maybe 50 feet long, and so naturally that had to be a snake run. Our fourth project was Pollard. Jaime Favela was working for the architect engineering firm that was redoing a concrete channel off US 54. It's a double driveway down design, which naturally creates multiple levels, so it's perfect. Turned out to be a little bit smaller than I thought in terms of height, but it's still fun and it's a great place for beginners to learn. When it's not moving water, what's it doing? Well, if you bend it in all the right ways, we're skating. The first skate parks, they were actually designed after stormwater drainage features. And now, all these years later, we're actually designing ditches like skate parks, So it's kind of come full circle.
Oh,
Yeah, see that cool, man?
this is beautiful, man. And it's all used boards and
Yeah? Yeah, wait up. Let me. Okay, so listen.
Only in El Paso is produced by KCOS, El Paso PBS, in collaboration with local filmmakers. Only in El Paso is made possible with support from El Paso Museums and Cultural Affairs Department, working to develop a world-class arts community in El Paso. El Paso Electric, proud to be your local utility. Visit El Paso, raising the profile of El Paso to attract visitors near and far. And PBS Digital Studios, original content that explores science, arts, culture, and beyond.